What would you do if I told you that right now, somewhere in your past, maybe yesterday, maybe last week, maybe 5 years ago, you said something that could still be used against you? Not a lie, not a confession, just a sentence. A completely normal sentence that felt harmless the moment it left your mouth. And here's the part that should worry you. You probably don't even remember saying it, but someone else might. Pause for a second. Think about the last conversation you had where you were explaining yourself, defending yourself, trying to make someone understand your side of a story. Got something in mind? Comment the word remember if you've ever had a conversation that felt perfectly reasonable in the moment, but later kept you up at night. I'll wait. Most people believe the law only cares about what you intended. That as long as you didn't mean any harm, as long as you were just talking, just venting, just explaining, you're safe. That's what feels true. That's what we all want to believe. But that's not how it actually works. And confusing what feels true with what is legally true is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make without ever realizing you're making it. Here's what actual lawyers, prosecutors, and defense attorneys will tell you behind closed doors. There is one sentence, one specific type of statement that gets people in more legal trouble than almost anything else. Not a lie, not a threat, not an admission of guilt. Something you say every single week without thinking. And the moment you say it, it can be written down, recorded, remembered, and used against you in ways you never imagined. By the end of this video, you will never say it the same way again. You will see it coming before it leaves your mouth. And you will understand why very few people ever get warned about this until it's too late. Let me take you inside a real case. A man named David is in a dispute with a neighbor over a property line. Fence went up 2 feet onto what David believed was his land. He's frustrated. He's been saving for years to build a workshop. Now this. One afternoon, the police show up after a heated argument. David is calm now. He wants to help. He wants to explain. And the officer asks him a simple question. Did you ever threaten your neighbor? David says, no, of course not. But I was angry, and I might have said something like, you'll regret this. I didn't mean it literally. That sentence. I might have said something like, was written into the police report. The prosecutor read it as a veiled threat. The neighbor's lawyer read it as an admission of intent. David thought he was being honest, cooperative, reasonable. The law saw something else entirely. This is where most people get it backwards. They think the dangerous words are the lies, the cover-ups, the I didn't do it when you did. But in reality, the most dangerous words are the ones that feel cooperative. The ones where you try to explain your way out of a situation by volunteering context, by offering what you think is harmless background information, by saying the one sentence that lawyers dread hearing their own clients say, to be honest, or honestly, or here's what really happened, or the biggest one of all. I mean, I guess technically you could say that. Stay with me because this next part matters more than anything else in this video. What you are about to hear is the difference between someone who gets trapped by their own words and someone who walks away from a conversation with their rights completely intact. The sentence that destroys people, the one that lawyers say gets used against you the moment you say it, is any variation of, I might have, or it's possible that or I don't remember, but if I did, or technically speaking, why? Because in the eyes of the law, you just did something extraordinary. You just offered an alternative version of events that you yourself are not willing to fully stand behind. You created a crack. And the other side's lawyer? Their entire job is to drive a truck through that crack. They don't need you to confess. They just need you to be uncertain, because uncertainty sounds like honesty to a jury. And once you say, I might have, you have just handed them a rope and shown them where to tie the knot. Let me give you the psychological reason this works so well against you. Human beings have a deep, almost uncontrollable urge to be seen as fair and reasonable. When someone accuses you of something, your brain doesn't just want to deny it. It wants to prove you're a good person, so you over-explain. You say things like, look, I'm not perfect. I might have raised my voice, but I didn't threaten anyone. Do you see what just happened? You admitted to raising your voice. You introduced doubt about your own behavior. You gave them a smaller truth to use as a weapon against the larger truth. That's not honesty. That's a trap you walked into with the best intentions in the world. Here's the wrong way versus the right way. Wrong way. Someone asks, did you send that email? You say, I don't remember sending it, but I might have. It was a stressful week. What just happened? You just gave them a statement they can now use to argue that you have a pattern of forgetting your own actions, that you're unreliable, that even you don't trust your own memory. Right way, I have no recollection of sending that email. If you have a copy, I'd be happy to see it. That's it. No might have. No technically. No volunteering uncertainty. You are not being dishonest. You are being precise. And precision is the enemy of manipulation. Smart move? Train yourself to hear the words I might have as a siren in your own head. Every time you are about to say them, stop. Ask yourself, am I saying this because it's actually true, or because I want to seem reasonable? If it's the second one, keep your mouth closed. The desire to seem reasonable in a hostile conversation is the #1 reason people hand over evidence against themselves. Now I want you to imagine a different scenario. You're at work. HR pulls you into a meeting about a complaint. You're nervous. You want to be cooperative. You want to keep your job. The HR person says, "Did you ever make a comment about Sarah's performance in front of the team?" And you say, "I don't think so, but I might have said something in passing during a meeting. I honestly don't remember. Congratulations." You just created a formal record that says you might have done exactly what they're investigating. You didn't deny it. You didn't confirm it. You did something worse. You made their job easy. Now they don't have to prove you said anything. They just have to prove that you yourself said it was possible. In the world of investigations, that's often enough. This is the part where people get defensive. They say, "But I'm not lying. I really don't remember. I really might have." That's the truth. And I hear you. That's fair. But here's what you need to understand. The law does not reward your honesty in this moment. It exploits it. Your honesty about your own uncertainty becomes the evidence they use against you. The correct response is not dishonesty. The correct response is discipline. "I have no memory of that. Can you show me what you're referring to?" That's it. That's the whole sentence. No speculation. No hypotheticals. No might have. Let me show you how deep this goes. In police interrogations, this is literally a trained technique. Detectives are taught to ask questions that sound casual but are designed to get you to say, "I might have." They'll say things like, "Look, we're not saying you meant to hurt anyone, but is it possible you said something without thinking?" The moment you say, "I guess it's possible," they have you. Because now they can argue to a jury that even you admit it's possible. They don't need probable. They don't need likely. They just need possible. And you gave it to them. There is a famous case from Florida where a man was questioned about a missing laptop from his office. He was innocent. Completely innocent. But he was nervous. The detective said, "Is there any chance you accidentally took it home thinking it was yours?" The man said, I guess it's possible, but I really don't think so." That statement, "I guess it's possible," was read aloud in court. The prosecutor said, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, even the defendant admits it's possible he took the laptop." He was acquitted eventually, but only after months of legal fees and stress that nearly bankrupted him. All because he wanted to seem reasonable to a detective who was never on his side. Here's what very few people know. The most powerful word you can use in any situation where someone is asking you about your own behavior is not no. It's not, "I didn't do it," it's allegedly. Not sarcastically, not as a joke, but as a precise legal boundary. You're asking about an allegedly threatening email. "I have no memory of sending any such email." See what happened there? You didn't deny, you didn't admit, you simply refused to adopt their framing. Because the moment you adopt their framing, you're playing their game. And their game is designed for you to lose. I want you to notice something about your own reaction right now. Some of you are thinking, "But this sounds paranoid. I'm not a criminal. No one is interrogating me. Why do I need to know this?" That's exactly what people say right before they say the one sentence that destroys them. You don't need this information for the conversations you expect. You need it for the conversations you never saw coming. The casual chat with HR. The friendly call from a police officer who says, "We're just trying to get your side." The email chain with a neighbor that turns into an official complaint. The moment you least expect it is the moment you need this the most. So let me give you the practical rule. The rule is simple enough to remember under pressure. Never speculate about your own past actions. Ever. If you don't know, you don't know. If you don't remember, you don't remember. Do not say "I might have." Do not say "it's possible." Do not say "technically." Say what you know. Stop there. Let the silence do the work that your words cannot. And here's the final piece that most people never consider. Even if you are 100% innocent, even if you have nothing to hide, even if the truth is completely on your side, the sentence "I might have" can still be used against you, because it creates ambiguity where none existed before. And in the legal system, ambiguity is not your friend. Ambiguity is fuel for the other side's story. You want to be boring. You want to be clear. You want to be the person who says, "I don't recall," and then stops talking. Not because you're hiding something, but because you understand that every word you say is being listened to by someone who is not on your side. Before you go, I want you to sit with this for a moment. Think about the last time you said, "I might have," or "it's possible," or "to be honest." What were you trying to accomplish? Were you protecting yourself? Or were you performing honesty for someone who didn't deserve it? Comment the word "never again" if you're going to start catching yourself before those words leave your mouth. Because the people who understand this one sentence, who truly understand it, are the ones who never get trapped by their own good intentions. The rest, they learn the hard way, and the hard way is expensive. Don't let it be you.